How many of you guys remember the late 80s Nissan Pulsars? They are so cool, and this one is so nice. Let's get started. This one is Euro-Asian Bob's, and yes, he struck again. Where does he find this stuff? I have no idea. If I tried, I wouldn't be able to even find something like this. This one's a 1989 Nissan Pulsar EXA NX, which is the EXA series. I remember these being brand new as a kid. I remember seeing them on the road, and every once in a while you would see them around. But about 10, 15 years ago, they just disappeared. There's really not many of them left. They're in junkyards, or they're worn out, or this one is a survivor. It only has 13,000 miles on it. As far as miles are concerned, it hadn't even exceeded its factory warranty, but we all know it has by time. It's way exceeded the warranty. When these came out, they weren't anything super fancy or high-end. It was just an everyday daily driver that was good on gas, and it looked really cool. And there's some really neat features that this car can do we're going to show you today. But this thing is so nice. Let's go ahead and take a look around this thing. It's beautiful. Here is the front of this Nissan Pulsar. It has flip-up headlights, which I will demonstrate real quick. Those are so cool. I remember the days when those were just the neatest thing on a car. And they still are. They're really cool today. So come around to the side. You'll see as we go around, the paint is like shining like a diamond. It is beautiful. It's perfect. It does have a new set of tires. You can see here it says Pulsar NX. And it does have these little removable tops, kind of like T-tops. Those can come off, and it's really fun to drive around in. So come around to the back, there's the rear taillights. I remember those. I could see those today and I would know, hey, there goes a Pulsar. And it's so cool to see because I haven't seen that in such a long time. And you can see right there, it was purchased at James dealership in downtown Hays, Kansas, brand new. One cool thing about these is that this hatch can come up just like a normal hatchback, but there was a kind of an addition that you could add to it to make it like a station wagon. I'll show you a picture real quick. There you can see it's like a station wagon. It's like a little, it's really cool. It's very angular. As we go down this side, again, more immaculate paint. You just don't see cars styled like this anymore. It is so neat to see it. Let's go ahead and jump into the engine bay. There's our little 1.6 liter four-cylinder with a whole 110 horsepower. This is a throttle body injection style EFI. It's not carbureted, but it's not multi-port fuel injection either. Look at, guys, it just has the cad plating or the yellowish colored plating on those like it's brand new. Even the bolts and screws look brand new. It's like it just came off the assembly line. You can see it has a new AC Delco battery, and there's our relay panel, and right out in front of that is actually, it looks to be aftermarket cruise control. I don't think it had cruise control when it was new. Maybe it was a dealer installed option, I'm not sure, but everything is very nice under the hood. Let's go ahead and let Mrs. Wizard give you guys a tour of the perfect interior.
Okay, ladies and gents, this thing is so amazing. 13,986.3. That is it. And this thing, it looks, smells, everything about this interior is 1989 and is brand new. Those gauges don't even have a hint of dust. As we move up, look at the dash. Obviously, this thing has never seen a raindrop. I think the finish on the exterior is original. I don't think they've even probably washed this with this few of miles. Look at all the HVAC controls. Not even a scratch, not anything. It's just like it rolled off the assembly line. It is an automatic, so no fun gear selecting here. But we do have a fun hidey hole, which has absolutely nothing in it because everything in this car is pristine. Got a little spot underneath to maybe hide coins and whatnot underneath our parking brake. And we do have a fun little hidey spot right here between the two seats. Look at the release for our seat belt. There's not even really scratches on this. That's what I'm telling you. And let's look at the driver's side, just to be sure, because this side obviously has had more time in it than probably the passenger. But as we move to that seat, it is a cloth seat, and the support on it is quite nice because it's not had any time in it to get squished. Here's all the original paperwork. They have underneath, they photocopied, and thank goodness they did, because the original window sticker is a little faded over time. But they've got the original owner's manual, the directions on how to remove that hatch, and if you're in an accident, and then just warranty information. You'll see that when they initially bought this, again from the James Motor in Hays, Kansas, they paid $12,269 and paid an extra $105 to get the sports graphic package on. Yeah, and it does look like air conditioning was added as well. I'm not so sure when that cruise control was added. It was not done at the time when the car was originally purchased. So I removed all those literature I found in the glove box, but look at the seat. I love the cloth pattern. There's not so much as a hint of even lint on this thing. It is in such perfect condition. It does go up, and it does have a fun little bar here across the top. Not sure if something's missing there. It almost seems like there should be, but everything is so perfect. It must be the way they designed it in '89. We look at our door card, and there is a couple of things that are very interesting to this vehicle. Let's take a closer look. One is this vent. It can go here, or it can go here. It can go here, or it can go here. That's it. It can also go up and down as well. But that is an interesting feature. I've never seen that on a car before. So if you want to have it blow on you, you have to pull it out. There's no in between. It's either on, full, or nothing. The other thing that's kind of original is it does not have power windows. So it does have the manual crank for that window as well. But we've got a nice little cushion there on our armrest. And as we slide to our footwell, you'll see beautiful floor mats as well. In the back seat, and yes, I did say back seat because that is actually a seat. And I don't know where your legs are going to be, but they would go, I guess if the passenger scooted forward and a very short driver was here, they could actually have 4 people in the car. Because there's 2 spots in the back. There is not a middle spot. Nobody gets to sit on the hump, but it is, look at how soft this is. Very, very soft. So interesting. Got a neat little hidey hole. Let's go take a peek. Nothing going on, of course, because nothing is wrong with this car in the slightest. And we do have a nice speaker behind that grille as well. In our back hatch area, again, that same carpet we've seen everywhere is back there, and it is in pristine shape as everything, I mean everything in this car is. As we move to our headliner, which isn't a headliner at all. It's all vinyl. And you can see that the T-top area can come out. So there's part there, and then a solid section with a very tiny little, with a very delicate little control. There we go. It's there. Our rear view mirror is insanely simple. It only has morning mode, night mode, morning mode, night mode. There's no other settings there. There's no garage door buttons, no connects to OnStar, nothing like that. And as we're back to our gauge cluster, one thing we did not mention is I love the wings of the late 80s. Wing over here to control, and I love how it's like this extension that comes out. So we have our windshield wiper controls on this side, and on this side, we've got controls for our headlights. So interesting setup here. And down here, let's look through the space between our steering wheel there. There is our cruise control stock that was added post-purchase. So you can see that was added. It looks like a really good addition as well. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this in the air.
So when Euro-Asian Bob actually dropped this thing off, he knew right offhand that both CV shafts have split boots on them and there's a little bit of grease leaking out. He doesn't think it's contaminated with anything, but we'll take a look at that. And I think, being that this was in Hays when this was purchased new, all the miles that it has on it, I don't even think they're highway miles. It's out in western Kansas, kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it's very likely these are all city miles in the city. So let's take a look and see what we find. We can see our condenser there. It doesn't even have any bugs in it. It doesn't have really any scrapes on the little chin spoiler here. Hardly anything at all. All the little plastic screw heads are intact. They're not all scraped up or broken. Here's our little plastic shields. It looks like maybe a couple of little screws are missing here. They might have fallen out. We can add a couple of those. We don't see anything leaking underneath the radiator area at all. Here's our engine oil pan. No leaks. Over here is our transmission pan. No leaks going on there. Let's go ahead and check over here. Our brake pads still have about 80% remaining. Here we can see the split boots that Eurasian Bob talked about. So we'll look into replacing those or maybe rebuilding them. We'll just see how everything pans out that way. The struts are dry. Sway bar link is good. Nothing loose there. Here we see again a split boot. It's leaked out a little bit of grease. Our brakes are about 80%. The strut is dry as well there. Sway bar link is good. Nothing loose there. So the boots that are split there are probably just from age, having grease in them and sitting a long time, and finally one day it was driven and it's just from age it cracked and broke open. So really that's to be expected with the age of the vehicle, even though it has low miles. I don't see anything leaking up here with the steering rack. Here's our shifter cable. Our catalytic converter is still intact, the original one. It's doing great. Look at this tiny little exhaust pipe. It's like a 1.5 inch or something, 1 7/8, little tiny thing. Here's our sway bar. And it just hooks right into the control arm. There's no link there. That bushing looks good. We have drum brakes. This strut is not leaking. Nothing loose there. And same situation over here. Looks like a little plastic bag, or the paint is peeling. That's what that is. That's just the paint. Nothing serious going on there. Here's our spare tire well. It does have a tiny little tow hook in case you get stuck in the mud or something. You can hook to that and pull it out. It has something strange on the muffler, the rear muffler here. That's not a rubber piece. That's like 1/4 inch plate steel. It's like heavy. I don't know why it's there or what it does. Man, that thing is heavy. So it still has all the little nipples on the tire tread. Obviously these aren't the original tires or they would be destroyed. And these are like 1 or 2 years old. They're not even that old. So they are in very, very good shape. Let's get this thing on the ground. So how did one of these cool little Pulsars survive this well, this far? We're here in 2023 and it looks like a brand new car. Well, the story is that an older lady bought it brand new when she was in her 50s, sometime in her 50s, her age. Now she's in her 90s and she doesn't really drive anymore. She decided to sell it. So in the time that she's owned this vehicle, she's only put 13,000 miles on it. Obviously, she rarely ever drove it. This is a modern day, what they call a church car. Maybe go to church, maybe go get some groceries. Otherwise, the car just sits. There's a link in the description to contact Eurasian Bob if you're interested in purchasing this. I'm not sure if he's going to auction it or sell it. You'll have to contact him and find that information out. Obviously, with as nice as this is, you're not going to get it for $1,500. It is in very, very good condition. We'll get the boots taken care of, but really that's all we have to do. Services, oil change, and this thing will be ready to be put on his lot. Make sure to check out Mrs. Wizard's Ways in the link in the description below. She's got really cool videos there. She's got her own channel now. If you're curious what kind of tools we use in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. Also, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button here because there's many more cool Duramax videos, truck, bus, all kinds of things going on. Thanks for watching.